The pre-owned or used car business is getting bigger and bigger, and quite frankly it doesn't get much bigger than this. We are at the Spinny Park in Pune, and this facility has about 500 plus pre-owned cars which people can just come in and buy and make the purchase and the deal transaction straight away. And talking to me about how it all works and what plans are forward is Niraj Singh, who is the CEO and founder of Spinny. Niraj, thanks for talking to us. Really, I think what I'm seeing is a bit of a revolution in the pre-owned car space. So just want to start off with, before we get into what you all are doing, how is the overall market for pre-owned cars?
First of all, thanks a lot for taking out time and coming here. It's a pleasure hosting you and meeting you. So, yeah, coming back to your question, the market is, I would say, very exciting these days, and the demand is very strong. And of course, because of pandemic, there was a long-term psychological shift. People started, realizing that cars are not just about moving from point A to point B. It's also about safety and well-being of the family. So that is the long-term psychological shift. So demand is very strong, and we are seeing that it's not tapering down, right? So
that's interesting. So what you're saying is, after the pandemic, I mean, there was this whole thing about people wanting shared mobility before and the convenience of that. You found a change in mindset where people feel that in such uncertain times, a car is a good thing to have as an emergency, and it's a kind of a safety and security thing to have.
Right. So the used car market was already doing quite well even before the pandemic also, but after the pandemic, the demand became even more strong.
Right. So clearly, right now, is it a seller's market? I mean, looking at how you're obviously acquiring cars and also selling cars. Is it more of a challenge?
The same psychology applies to sellers also.
Right.
So they want to keep holding their cars. So supply is limited, but there is a huge demand. So there is a huge demand supply gap in the market, right? So huge delta, I would say.
Right.
But at the same time, the behavior is very different on the demand side and what you see on the supply side. On the supply side, sellers are trying to maximize the kind of price they can get. That is the most important basically criteria in their head. While on the demand side, as you also mentioned, right, that it's not just about getting the best possible deal, but also about getting the right car, right? You can't afford to go wrong with quality, performance, reliability, right? So you want to ensure that you get the perfect car for a family. So that people don't want to, that people really wants to ensure, and just for the sake of any discount or something like that, they are not willing to make any compromises with that expectation. So on the demand side, the most important aspect is quality, accountability, experience, and then comes the fair pricing. While on the supply side, for sellers, it's about getting the best possible price.
Right. But new car sales, new car demand also impacts the pre-owned market. So how has that panned out? I mean, is that new cars have become really expensive right now for whatever reason? Regulations have pushed the prices up, commodity prices pushed the prices up of new cars. Is this having some sort of an impact?
Yes. So this is helping the pre-owned car market. So last 1.5 to 2 years, there were frequent, basically price hikes in the new cars. So that started making more sense for people to buy second-hand cars. And new car market, but in spite of that, the new car market is also growing, and maybe that is allowing OEMs to hike the prices. So the kind of psychological shift I talked about, right? So that is helping both new cars and used cars to basically expand the market. But because of the price hikes on the new car side, that is further helping the used car market.
Right. So do you think customers have got used to a new normal of higher prices for both new and pre-owned cars? I mean, like today, airline tickets are much more than what they were. Hotel rooms are a lot more. I mean, the whole, we're living in a shortage economy, and clearly costs have gone up in that. So do you think there's a kind of a acceptance that cars are costing more?
I'll add something more there, right? So what we are seeing and realizing that earlier there was a clear segregation that this is the potential used car buyer pool and that is the potential new car buyer pool, right? That boundary is getting diffused now, right? It's blurring. It's blurring, right? So a car buyer is a car buyer, and that buyer has some budget in his or her mind.
And it could be for either new or used.
Exactly, that they are just trying to figure out what is the best product they can get in that budget,
Right.
and as per their requirement. So that boundary is getting blurred.
That's quite interesting. And tell me, is that why you are also trying to make the used car journey and experience as aspirational as possible? I mean, just looking at your showroom, it looks like a swank new car showroom. Is that one of the driving?
Yeah, that is the core idea, right? So basically, we understand that how important this purchase is for people, irrespective of whether they are going for a new car or the used car, right? If you're buying a car, it is a very aspirational, special purchase for anyone. So we are basically trying our best to respect that emotion, right? So for us, it's like building this platform is like building a platform where people can buy even second-hand cars with same confidence with which they would have purchased a new car, but at the same time, the end-to-end buying experience can be far better.
But Niraj, to ask you very frankly, do you think there's still a little bit of a stigma about buying a pre-owned car? You know, today we are very class-conscious society, status-conscious society. Little bit that's there, which might be going, but it's still there, and that is also one hurdle.
So that is going quite fast, but it hasn't gone completely yet.
Compared to, let's say, a more mature market in the US or Europe or something.
There is still some way, you know.
Right, and that's more a societal thing, I think.
Exactly, and we are basically trying our best to eliminate that completely, but little bit of that is still there.
Right, so clearly I think...
At least for some people.
Right, yeah, but what's interesting, and I think what you said is that this blurring of lines between new and used cars. So that's a very interesting thing which I'd like to touch upon a bit more. So can you give us an example? I mean, is the choice between, let's say, a slightly bigger pre-owned SUV versus a small hatchback, is that a fair comparison, maybe same price? And how does the running cost affect the purchasing decision? Because generally the bigger cars, which might be affordable in the used car market, might be more expensive to run and maintain.
So two things there, right? So over last 6-7 years, cars have become much better, much more efficient, and at the same time, the daily driving requirement for most of the people is not that high. So people have become that smart, right? And they have started realizing that if they are open to explore options from second-hand car market also, then whatever budget they have in their mind, they can get a much better product altogether, and maybe the day-to-day running cost and maintenance cost is not that high because cars are much better now, and even their driving requirement is not that high on a daily basis.
Right. Now coming to Spinny, I mean, just to understand, you've really taken this space with full passion and commitment. Clearly we can see it in the stores you've done over here. How do you see yourself differentiating yourself in this area?
So, we believe that this category is all about trust. When I say trust, it is a basically common packaging of quality, transparency, and accountability, right? So that is what we are trying to solve, right? And when we basically started to operate in this category, right? So before entering, we saw that there were many players, but the kind of relatability we have, right, with the emotions of a prospective buyer, right, the kind of emotions you have while buying your car. So we realized that not all players were respecting that wholeheartedly. So we realized that there is a clear room to solve for. Our reason to basically operate in this category is to basically respect that emotion and try our best to solve for that.
Right.
And we believe that if you are able to solve for the trust part, right, and if you are able to create great experience for our customers, then rest of the things will happen automatically. Right. That is our real motive, right? And building that kind of trustworthy and experience sensitive brand, right, is a very satisfying and fulfilling thing to do, right? And if you are operating that way, then the volumes, the market share, the revenues, will happen automatically, and we are already seeing that now.
Right, but Niraj, what's interesting and seems to be, I wouldn't say a risk, but it's a lot of capital blocked, is that you own your own inventory, and that is.
So we started with a managed marketplace model or a classified kind of model initially in mid 2015, and we operated that model for close to 1.5 years, and we realized that until and unless you are owning the entire value chain end to end, you can't, intent is not good enough.
You can't control the quality?
Yeah, so if you're not owning the value chain, you cannot control the quality, you cannot take accountability of what you are delivering to your customers. So we pivoted to a full stack model. In a way, we started rebuilding the business again from scratch in January, February 17, and we built the entire business with that kind of model because we really wanted to solve the real pain points of the category. And at the same time, we are saying that there is a huge demand. So basically, these two arguments can't go together. At one hand, we are saying that the market is really strong, there is huge demand for cars, and on the other hand, if we are saying that having a full stack model is a risky model. So these are basically counterintuitive, right? So if the demand is so strong and if it is going to remain that strong, then having a full stack model is not that risky, I would say. But at the same time, we have insanely strong integration of tech and data science and analytics in everything we do.
Right.
So every decision making is powered by our tech stack. So that in a way ensures that we are executing this and scaling this business without taking unnecessary risks.
So what's the sort of inventory you would typically be holding at any given time?
Our on our platform, average holding days is close to 47, 48 days.
Right.
So yeah.
And you'd have about 10,000 cars or something?
Little more than 10,000 cars.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what's the kind of numbers you all are doing every month, just to understand?
We are doing more than 6,500 cars a month now, right?
That's more than some OEMs doing new cars, yeah, and used cars, of course.
So on the B2C retail side, I believe that we are the largest retailer now.
Right. And again, just to understand, the owning your own inventory, I mean, I guess you're in a comfortable position as long as demand is stronger than supply.
Yes, but at the same time, your assessment of the quality of the car and the pricing and your ability to predict the demand and building the assortment on the platform accordingly, all those things also needs to be correct, right? So you can't afford to go wrong with those aspects also.
Right. And just to see what trends are you seeing as we go more up market, up the value chain, where is the sweet spot or the core of the demand for the pre-owned market? Is it in the maybe 6 to 7 lakh range, or are we seeing even cars going, let's say 15, 20 lakhs? You've got some BMWs also on your platform.
We recently
Audis,
launched Spinny Max for premium
right, for your premium cars, yeah. So how is that going? And just to get a sense of where is the core of the market?
So average order value of cars on our platform is close to 6 lakhs rupees, and that is where the overall sweet spot is.
Right.
But we clearly see two different kind of cohorts, right, among buyers. So there is one cohort that basically wants to replicate the new car kind of experience.
Right.
They won't buy anything older than 4 years or 5 years. They won't buy anything driven more than 40,000, 50,000 kilometers. So they are going for the pre-owned option, but their expectation is that the overall experience of buying, at the same time the overall condition and quality of the car should be as close to as a new car. And since they are going for a pre-owned car, if they can get a price advantage of maybe 25%, 35% or 30%, they are more than happy with that.
Right.
With the same kind of advantage, maybe they can upgrade their car also. So that is one cohort, right? Another cohort is like they are basically okay to buy a 8 years, 9 years, 10 years old car, maybe more than 100,000 kilometers driven car, but even they don't want to compromise with the quality, reliability,
which is more of an issue with an old car, actually.
Right, performance. They want everything very transparent, right? But if those things are properly taken care and if the end-to-end transparency is there, then they're happy to buy a car like that. But then their expectation is that can they save maybe 60%, 70%, 75% with respect to a new car price.
Right.
So for them, for that cohort, our assessment is that the sweet spot is close to 3 lakhs, and the first cohort I talked about, the sweet spot is close to 7.5 to 8 lakhs.
Right. So
and the blended overall sweet spot is like 6 lakhs.
Right. So got it. So the clear distinct groups over there.
And hence we have started operating two categories now. For the first cohort, we operate Spinny Assured category, and for the second cohort, we operate Spinny Budget category.
Right. So interesting. So quite a few categories. You got Spinny Max,
Yes.
Assured, and Budget as well. So clearly there is definitely segmentation within the used car purchase as well. And again, just sticking to what Spinny plans to do. I mean, what's the next step going forward for you? Is it just expanding the current model to more and more locations? I think you're in about what, 15 cities?
Yeah, we are selling in top 15 cities. Basically, on the demand side, we are operating in 15.
Right.
On the supply side, we are operating in almost 50 cities. So, if we are selling in, let's say, Pune and Bombay, then we would be buying throughout Maharashtra.
Right. And what are expansion plans? Is it just to drill down deeper
For some
into
time now, we don't want to enter new markets. We want to keep going deeper in the existing markets. Some markets are, already operating at a very high market share. For example, in Bangalore, we are close to 10% of the overall market.
Wow.
Yeah. So Pune is like 6.5%, 7%. Hyderabad is again 6.5%, 7%.
Overall used car market.
Overall used car market, online, offline, including everything.
Right.
So till December 20, we were operating only in 4 cities: Delhi NCR, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune. So all these 4 markets, each of these markets are more than 5% market share now.
Right.
Then 21, we added 4 more cities. That is our second cohort: Bombay, Chennai, Ahmedabad, and Calcutta. Those markets are operating at 3.5 to 4% kind of market share.
Right.
And then we added 7 smaller cities in 22 cities like Kochi, Surat, Coimbatore, Lucknow, Chandigarh, Jaipur kind of cities. So those cities are relatively very new.
Right.
So at the moment, we just want to keep going deeper in our existing 15 cities, and the idea is to have minimum market share of 8-9% in each of these cities first. Then we will start thinking about other markets.
And looking at clearly, buying and selling. Obviously, a lot of used car, let's say, buyers coming to your platform, but you need to acquire the stock. So, is selling the car on your platform equally important? And how do you make that easy for someone to, want to sell on Spinny and not anywhere else?
Right. So basically, for sellers.
And sorry, is that a challenge? Is that the main challenge to find the sellers before the buyers? Because clearly you're saying demand is more than supply.
Supply is more competitive, right? Because on demand side, if you have built a reputation for quality and experience, then many people will come just to you. They won't go to multiple places. But on the supply side, sellers are just trying to optimize the prices. So if they know about 3-4 prospective buyers, they will try to collect a quote from each of those prospective buyers. Right. So supply side is more competitive. So you need to solve for 3 things there. One is, of course, the pricing. Your pricing needs to be most competitive. Then the speed, and then the convenience. So because of our model, we are able to offer very competitive price. Right. Second, in our system for sellers, everything is a doorstep service. Right. So it is as convenient as it can be, and it is very quick. If you want, you can sell your car the very same day. So you go to our online platform, submit some basic details of your car. We will show you a ballpark range on the basis of that. If you're comfortable with that range, then we will do the inspection of your car the very same day at your doorstep. And after the inspection, if you accept our final quote, we can make the payment then and there only and can collect the car. So
right.
It is fast, right? As fast as it can be, as convenient as it can be. And at the same time, because of the beauty of our model, we are able to ensure that the prices are also, most competitive kind of.
Right. And, just last few questions, Niraj, clearly looking again at the overall pre-owned car market in India, still very unstructured, still not organized. So clearly a lot of potential, and I'm sure that's what's giving you, your investors, a lot of optimism and promise. What is your forecast of this market going forward, and how much do you see it growing?
So when we were starting up in 2015, only 7 to 8% of the market was organized. At the moment, close to 20% of the market is already organized. I believe that 4 years, 5 years down the line, close to 40% of the market should be organized, right? So organized, portion of the market is growing, but at the same time, the market is also growing. Market is growing at 14-15% year on year. So basically, 4 years down the line, the market should get doubled in size. At the same time, the share of the organized will also get doubled from 20% to 40%. So
right.
Organized market will grow kind of 4x over next 4 to 5 years. So the future of the used car market is very bright.
Right.
If you look at the, irrespective of the used car or the new car, overall car market. So the Indian economy is going to keep booming.
Right.
And the personal passenger car penetration per capita is still close to 25.
Correct.
So if you are a believer of Indian economy, then the new car market, used car market, both markets will grow like anything.
Right.
Right.
And what are the challenges? Could regulations be a challenge? You've got BS6 knocked off some cars. People are worried. Diesel after 10 years, that obviously brings down the value. NCR, old cars can be an issue. Other states might apply the same rule. There are always these few fears which are happening from the regulation side, especially to do with emissions. Is that
whenever such kind of new basically schemes are being implemented, people are very considerate about the existing car owners.
Right.
Right. So I'm not seeing any injustice being done to them.
Right.
Most of the time, it is only about new cars coming on the road.
No, but you've got this rule. 10-year-old diesels
But those cars, you can sell outside Delhi NCR,
right?
So
and you don't see this going all India.
Exactly. Right. So and that kind of sensitivity is being built already.
Yeah, because it is anti-poor in a way.
Exactly. So I think the rules are already being very on the very considerate side, and then the new RTO rule which is coming up, to help the basically help the structure of the market.
Correct.
That will be very helpful for the organized players.
Right.
And very I would say very I would say right measure, right, for the customers also. It will further de-risk the sellers, right. It will basically provide more peace of mind to them. It will be a easier buying process for the buyers. So the new RTO rule, right, will help the market very strongly.
Right. And also just coming to the cars themselves, they're getting more modern, getting better quality. Yeah. They have a longer life as well. Typically, right. I mean, they're lasting much longer. Yeah. Though some cars, get when they get old, they get more expensive to maintain. But generally, quality of cars has improved. Their life has improved. Clearly, this benefits the used car market as well.
Right.
So, are you seeing that trend?
Yeah, we're seeing that trend, right? So, and even the second-hand cars that people are buying, right? So, they are going for upgradations, different kind of modifications. They are very excited about adding more accessories. So I think basically by making the used car market more and more organized, we are enabling more and more people to fulfill their aspirations in whatever budget is possible for them.
Right. And do you think it will come a time where to enhance value, you would want to give your own warranty for a pre-owned car?
We are already providing that.
Right.
So if you buy a car from Spinny,
right,
with every car you will get a 1-year free warranty.
Right.
And that is directly fulfilled by us. It's not a third-party warranty.
Right. So and obviously there is some cost to that, but how's that working?
That is already basically factored into the pricing of the car.
Right.
Yeah. But every car comes with that 1-year warranty.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Niraj, it has been a pleasure talking to you, and really amazing what you have achieved. I mean,
the pleasure is ours, and I'm really happy that you liked what we are doing, and very thankful for your support. And we will love to host you at other Spinny facilities.
Yeah,
also.
we look forward to seeing that, and really wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And looking forward to really the car market growing, new and used.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.